Welcome back to Flight Pass. My name is Simon, and we are continuing our story of Waterloo. We're currently flying along the axis between the two Allied armies. We're where you see the custom 1 dot is Quatre, and we're just going to get to Quatre. We're just going to turn north. We're going to go up to Genappe. And we're going to pretend to join up with Wellington, who is riding down with his staff on the morning of the 16th of June, 1815. The idea of this flying in a helicopter and doing it slow is that we get to see the terrain, we get to see sense distances, and talk about all the good stuff that is Napoleonic warfare. The battlefield of Quatre is down here on our left, and we're going to follow this road now to the north. So as we talk about the Battle of Quatre, remember that this is the route here is where the army, the reserves, Picton's divisions are going to be coming down this road. So the distance from Quatre to Brussels, I think, is probably something like 20 miles. So you've got to remember that these guys they got up early in the morning. They're marching down this road, and they are then when they get to Quatre, they're immediately into action. So this is the village of Genappe. This will be an important location. So this is where Napoleon expects Ney to get to at least today. I think the plan was to have at least a division here to prevent Wellington coming down. And you can see that just there, where over on the horizon here, is where the actual battlefield of Waterloo is. So Wellington's coming down this road, and he's decided to check out what's going on at Quatre. And when he does, he passes through this Genappe, and you can see it's has a well, they call it a sort of steep ravine. We'll see if we can get a little bit lower down. But it looks like a great place to hold up, at least hold up a French advance at this point here. When he gets here, he, having observed this sort of area, he thinks this is a great place for the Brunswickers to come to. Now remember, Brunswickers are the kind of like Jaegers, huntsmen. They're kind of equipped with rifles, so they'll be good at like skirmishing, and so they're quite good at probably holding up a French advance in a place like this. It was a small little village. It had a bridge over the river or the stream on it, and in fact what I can do here is I'll just quickly jump out, and we'll can see if we can see. I'm not sure this road here that's a modern road, and the center of Genappe is over here. So if we come down this road, now remember this road's going to be pretty important later on, because this is where the Royal Horse Artillery will try to prevent French cavalry coming up here later. So remember this street. So Wellington would come down here. He's oops, it's a bit sensitive. He notes the compact nature of the street. and there's a hill that comes down into a bridge. So he thinks this is a great place to hold up the French if he had to, and obviously Ney also thinks, or Napoleon also believes that this is a great place to do the reverse. So Wellington, then in the morning, we're talking, he gets here, I think he, as you say, he got up about 4:30 in the morning. He arrives here at 7 o'clock, and this is when he orders the Brunswickers to come up to this position. And then he continues down this road here, and follow this old road, forget the modern road on the left, and comes all the way down here, and he arrives at this crossroad here, which is Quatre. Now, ignore most of these buildings on the left here. The only building that was really here, I believe, was this one on our left. There was a farm, I think it's this one here. That was there. This one's called Gemin Court, I believe. And then there's a lake. This is Matern Lake here. And these are all the sort of places that you'll remember later. And where we have, I think you could probably imagine this, where I'm going along here now, all the way down, and where this golf course is, I think, was all woods at the time. At 8 o'clock, let's pop back in the... At 8 o'clock in the morning, there's a Grouchy will report to Napoleon that he believes that the plans have changed for the day, because he has been probing the Prussian lines, and he believes that the Prussians are concentrating around Sombref. At this news, Napoleon doesn't believe it, and he decides that he will come up from Charleroi, and he sets off to basically have a look at it himself. Now, Wellington arrives at Quatre, we believe, somewhere around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And when he gets there, he finds that there's not much happening. The French are preparing their breakfast. But most importantly, when he gets there, he finds that the crossroads are in Allied hands. And these are in the hands, remember, of our friend Prince Bernard of Saxe-Weimar. He held he had a brigade of Nassau troops, and he met the French the previous evening. And if you remember, there was a number of minor skirmishes and engagements on the evening of the 15th and around this place here, which is Frasnes, just there. And he managed to, when the French had come up earlier, they found it, they actually managed to get to the crossroads with their cavalry, but found it wasn't occupied. When they went back, and Ney decides to come up with about 1,500 cavalry, he finds it then occupied by Prince Bernard. He's occupying it with around about 4,000 troops and some guns, about 8 guns. And so he then is prevented from capturing the crossroads on the evening of the 15th. By 10 a.m. on the 16th, Pontius' division was in position, deployed in an arc around let's just let it load in. So when Wellington arrives, Pontius' division is here in place, and they are in an arc around the south side of Quatre. So we're talking, they were in these woods over this way, and around this position here. And I think they occupied this farmhouse right there, which was called Gemincourt. And I think there's this building right in front of us right here that was also occupied. So Wellington was quite satisfied with the position at the time. There was obviously didn't seem to be an imminent attack going to happen. And so it's believed there are some reports that you've got to be a little bit careful of, that he wants that he then sends back some information to his reserve to move up to Quatre Bras using the Genappe road. The only problem is lots of these reports of this nature is in hindsight that we hear, so whether or not it's true is hard to believe. But when we get to it, there's Peter Hofschrauer argues that it was the Prince Orange who actually ordered the troops to Quatre Bras, and that may well have been the case. We don't know the verbal goings on, but we do know that Picton arrives. So someone, either Picton decides to march to the sound of the guns, or Wellington has sent for him to come down, or the Prince of Orange does it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's it's not. Is it that important? I'm not sure. Who does it? It's quite good that they feel that they can do it if the Duke of Wellington doesn't know about it. But you know, at the end of the day, as we'll see, Picton's arrival is a very key. The Battle of Quatre Bras, by the way, is kind of been described as a battle of a sequence of crises, and at each point, each crisis, this crossroads could fall, but it doesn't, because troops get there just in time. Whatever happens, we know though that Wellington decides that that he will send a message to Blücher, outlining his position, and then he also is believed that orders all the Anglo-Dutch concentrating in Nivelles, which is this town over here. He orders all these troops as well to come up. Again, not sure what if that's the if that's the case. But we know, for example, that the sound of the battle made it sound like there was reports. We talked about the first foot. They were coming into Nivelles, and they were stopped on this hill on this side of the town, and they believed that they could hear fighting on the other side of the town here at Nivelles. So the atmospherics was carrying the sound a long way. So they marched anyway to Quatre, and so it was a whole day of just trying to get to this place as quickly as possible. At 10 o'clock in the morning, though, Wellington believes that the area is quiet enough for him to move off. He doesn't think that the French are looking particularly eager to fight, and he feels that he's got time, so he decides to take a look at the Prussian position. Now, what I'm looking for right now is that they say he took the old Roman road, and there was a road that kind of I think it's this, kind of cuts this way. You can see this line. I'm not sure it's used anymore, but this road here, you see how straight that is? This is an old Roman road, and it's on a lot of the maps at the time. You wouldn't notice that, but until you actually get into this sort of simulator. But that is the old Roman road. Anyway, he takes the opportunity to ride probably down. These are all probably old Roman roads, to be honest. But yeah, he comes down here. He comes past this lake, Matern, and he heads towards the Prussian position. And he meets Blücher at the village of Bray, which is... So I think he comes down here and he gets to Bray. Now, the possibility that there was there was a windmill at Bussy, and it is presumably on the top of the hill here. And this is where he meets Blücher. And we believe that it was around about 10 o'clock in the morning. Let me just see if I can get a good shot here. The potential view that he would have had. He had sent a message as well ahead of him, and is believed to, but we're not sure about, again, this it's actually named the Frasnes letter. It reads, "My dear Prince, my army is situated as follows. The Army Corps of the Prince of Orange has one division here, which he means is Frasnes, which I think is kind of like the forward position from the Quatre. And he's got a division at Quatre, and the remainder at Nivelles. The reserve is on the march from Waterloo on the Genappe road, where it will arrive at midday, and the English cavalry will be at Nivelles at the same time. Lord Hill's corps is at Braine-le-Comte. And then he continues, I do not see much of the enemy before you, and I await news from your highness and the arrival of troops to decide my operations for the day. Nothing has appeared near Binch, which is nor on your right. Your very obedient servant, Wellington. Now, we talked about Binche. The Binche is it was a place in between Mons and Charleroi, which was actually attacked by d'Erlon as an access early on the 15th, but then they swung to the east. Anyway, so this is called the Frasnes letter, and this has become a focal point of the debate about this series of battles we're going to talk about. It is full of inaccuracies, it's believed. It has overestimated the extent to which Wellington had moved his armies towards the east. Dale Brooke, who's Gnasnai's biographer, remember Gnasnai is the chief of staff of Blücher, charged the Duke with deceiving his colleague by inducing him to stand and fight on the 16th, in order for him to have time to extricate himself from the difficulties in which his bad strategy had placed him. A serious allegation, and one which formed the basis of a breakdown in trust between Gnasnai and Wellington. So this whole letter thing, it's all about Blücher deciding whether to stand and fight. But we can see as Wellington's come up in the morning that he has got to Quatre, he's got a few divisions around. The French don't seem to be attacking, and he moves down, and from this position here we look out over the battlefield of Ligny, and it's believed that from this point he surveys the battlefield, and he can't see that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of troops out there. Now, there's an argument that Wellington, in his defense, his overestimation of the army's position was based on a document given to him, which was called the Dispositions of the British Army at 7 a.m. on the 16th of June. This document basically gave Wellington an over-optimistic position at the time. And you could argue that he just takes it as written and sends it off to Blücher. But I think he feels like he's got his Picton's divisions coming down the road. He thinks they're going to get there for about midday. The situation looks calm, and he could probably come to Blücher's support if he had to. And the ironic thing, and this is the whole great thing about the Battle of Waterloo and the whole campaign, is this is going to come back. This sort of role is going to be reversed. So here we've got Blücher asking Wellington whether he should stand, and Wellington saying, I can come to your support. And in a few days' time, we'll have the exact opposite situation where Wellington will be asking whether he could stand and Blücher would come to his support. And the relationship, though, between Wellington and Gnasnai is breaking down at this point. Gnasnai doesn't really trust Wellington. But Blücher is kind of a bit of more old school, word is my bond kind of thing, and probably realizes that Wellington was outfoxed as well by events, you know. The whole background of the Battle of Waterloo is a lot about the orders, which orders were sent where, the second orders, the first orders, who ordered what to wherever. But regardless of who ordered the troops, the outcome is that someone did order troops down to Quatre, and whether it was a written order from Wellington or a verbal order, or Prince of Orange taking it upon himself, or even just the troops of the day, just, you know, it's pretty obvious where they should be and they just carry on, like Picton might have done. You never know. When Wellington gets back over here, by the way, it's he comes over here with Muffling, Dornberg, and Fitzroy Somerset, and we believe he gets to this position here at around about 12 o'clock. They describe it as it's a Prussian position at Bry, and he comes via the Marbais, the village of Marbais. Now, Marbais is this one here, I believe. So he comes via this village to Bry. They describe this as a distance of about 5 miles. I think you could be 5 miles. Is this 5 miles? Yeah, possibly. In the meantime, we have Napoleon. Now he's obviously got a message from Grouchy saying that the plans have changed because the Prussians have made a stand, or they're concentrating at Sombref. And Napoleon arrives here at Fleurus. And we're now facing, looking north towards the Prussian positions. So all those names you see up there, you'll have Sombref and I think it's Tanguine and Bry and Tilly and Wangnelli, and all these positions here is basically describing the Prussian front line. With the gap just where there isn't a label is this. Here is the village of Ligny. So Napoleon has arrived then at Fleurus, and he goes to look at, I think it's a place called the Tomb de Ligny, and he gets to have a look out across the battlefield. So let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, then we'll see what Napoleon makes of what's in front of him, and then we'll carry on our story. So I'll see you in a moment.